Elon Musk did it. He has offered to buy Twitter outright, all as CNN's much-touted streaming service absolutely implodes. In this video, we're going to take a look at Musk's offer to buy out Twitter. We're going to see the latest debacle to plague the fledgling CNN network. And stick them at the very end of this video when I'll reveal how both of these events indicate that the days of the liberal media are indeed coming to an end. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Stevie with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote. So come on into your Patriot Professor's Den where I help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. Before we begin, as you know, gang, for those of you who signed up on our email list, I shared with you the difficult circumstances surrounding this channel at the moment. And I've just got to say, your support has been absolutely amazing. I just cannot thank you enough for that. So whether you're on our email list or not, I want to go more in depth with all of you about what's really going on with the future of our movement. So this Friday, April 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm holding a totally free meeting for Turley talkers off YouTube so we can share about what's really going on. Now, you should know that the platform only holds 3,000 viewers. I made the announcement yesterday, and I was just told there's only a couple of 100 spots left. Again, your response has been utterly overwhelming. I can't thank you enough. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Go to change.turleytalks.com/meeting right now to sign up for this movement update. I will be recording it, so if you can't make it, you're not going to miss it. So go ahead, sign up for the last remaining spots by clicking on the link below so we can email and text you the link to log on to for Friday, and I can't wait to see you there. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. It looks like we're seeing nothing short of a hostile takeover of the entire big media complex, in a sense. We've got some astonishing stuff going on. Let's start with Elon Musk. It is being widely reported that Elon Musk has made a, quote, best and final offer to buy Twitter Incorporated outright, saying that the company has extraordinary potential and that he's the person to unleash it. And so we're quickly finding out that Musk's original $3 billion buy was just the beginning of something astoundingly big, which, as it turns out, is his offer to buy the entire company. For his part, Musk tweeted out simply, quote, "I've made an offer." I guess so. I've made an offer. I've got an extra 40 bill lying around, and I decided, yeah, I'll make an offer. So cool. Well, that offer involves purchasing the entire company at just over $54 a share. In his letter to the board, Musk reiterated his absolute commitment to restoring the social media giant to a flourishing free speech platform, saying, quote, "I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. However, since making my investment, I now realize the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company." So things are getting very, very interesting indeed over at Twitter. Now, while all this is happening, things aren't going so great over at CNN, the most distrusted name in fake news. As it turns out, the woes over at CNN just keep piling up. Now it's their lauded CNN Plus platform. After months of hype and hope, the paid streaming service has turned out to be an absolute dud. It can barely find 10,000 viewers. Again, this is supposedly a major cable news outlet that's supposed to be getting millions upon millions of viewers, and they can't even get 10,000 people to pay for their streaming service. Now, keep in mind, the rollout for CNN Plus was huge. It's available on the web. It's on iPhone and Android. It's on Apple TV and Roku and Amazon Fire. But what it doesn't have, unfortunately for CNN, are customers. It's rightly being called a CNN catastrophe. And obviously it was a predictable one. I mean, these investors, whoever they are, they've got to be living in some bubble in their own liberal echo chamber to actually believe that anyone would pay to watch Brian Stelter or Chris Wallace or Don Lemon. People aren't watching them for free. Why would they pay to watch them? Oh, it's so bizarre. And note, too, that both Twitter and the CNN debacle, they are interrelated at least one level by virtue of Elon Musk himself. This is the same person who's trying to buy Twitter outright. He's the same person who's hardly hidden his contempt for CNN. I love what Elon Musk said about them in his interview with the Babylon Bee. Do you remember that several weeks back? The guys at the Babylon Bee, they were thanking Musk for being with them and saying, you know, you could have been on CNN. You didn't have to be with us. And Musk responded, I'm not perverted enough to be on CNN. Referencing CNN's propensity, frankly, towards sexual perverts like Jeffrey Toobin and Cuomo and the producers there. So that's one way these two developments are interrelating. Musk recognizes a future for Twitter that he doesn't see for CNN. But in my view, there's a much deeper interrelationship between these two developments. And that's understanding how the world is changing in such a way that the old way of disseminating news and information, represented by both CNN and Twitter, it's no longer plausible. In my view, the key to all of this is that we're finally beginning to see the old structures and institutions of the old industrial age begin to crumble. It's finally happening. I mean, we've been predicting it on this channel for some time, but now I think we can see it. So I think here's what's going on with Twitter possibly getting bought out by a super rich free speech advocate, as well as CNN just no longer viable and sustainable anymore in terms of their audience. Cable news and big tech come out of a social order known as mass society. And this is the kind of society that arose in the 19th and 20th centuries. It was a society that was organized around densely concentrated, urbanized populations during the Industrial Revolution. And it's within this mass society that the days of big media were forged over the course of the last century. So you've got NBC and Rockefeller Plaza, CNN building in Atlanta, New York Times, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, LA Times, Wall Street Journal. You see the pattern? All urban, cosmopolitan, right, news. That's one of the reasons why they're all so liberal, by the way. They live, move, and breathe cosmopolitan progressive values. The problem for big media and big tech is that scholars recognize we're moving away from mass society and moving instead towards what's called a network society. Okay, so if mass society related us to one another by virtue of our proximity to these massive urban centers like New York and LA, the network society relates us to one another by virtue of networks, specifically the internet, by which we can communicate with one another no matter where we are through instantaneous digitalized information. So we could see this in the way, for example, email and texting and instant messaging have basically bypassed the post office. We still use the post office, but now we call it snail mail, right? It's now just one of a whole host of ways that we can communicate with one another. Well, that's what's happening. That's the revolution that's rendering big media and big tech largely obsolete. So, for example, you'll notice that virtually 100% of the initial video documentation of any significant event of like a terrible shooting or some kind of horrible casualty, you'll notice that the first video documentation of that is not coming from news cameras or from satellite trucks. Where's it coming from? The on-the-ground, in real-life video capturing any significant event comes from where? Eyewitnesses who were present at the event recording it on their smartphones. That's the network society. It's a new social order that's increasingly decentralized and disestablished, and it's one that the legacy big media and big tech simply can't compete with anymore. And this is why the future of news is independent content creators who are able to communicate their own perspectives on what we can all see and hear via the network society. In mass society, the media controls what you can see. But in a network society, we can bypass the big media in a manner comparable to the way email or texting bypasses the old post office. News and information can now be consumed by seemingly limitless sources online. And really, if you think about it, I mean, this is what Elon Musk is saying about Twitter. If you want to be a truly viable media platform, you're going to have to get with the times. The times emphatically are no longer about big media institutions having a monopoly over information. Those days are over. Silicon Valley can try to prolong those days as long as they want, but they're only going to be hurting themselves in the process. And again, is why Musk has so much contempt for CNN. The ridiculous hangovers of an age gone by, where they think they can still dictate the news narratives and information that people have access to, and in the process, everyone just laughs at them. I mean, the notion is so totally ridiculous today. So obviously, we'll be keeping our eyes on how things develop here. But there is no question that whether we're dealing with Twitter getting radically transformed or CNN continuing its long, arduous process of implosion, either way, the world really is changing right before our very eyes. Now, before we go, you'll definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on the legacy media absolutely panicking over Elon Musk taking over Twitter. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.